Debt is something that many of us deal with, but it can feel overwhelming and even spiritually draining. Today we're going to talk and explore what the Bible says about debt, the challenges it creates, and how we can find freedom through practical spiritual steps. Let's dive in and discover how to break free from financial burdens and live in freedom. We're going to start by looking at what the Bible says about debt. Proverbs 22:7 gives us a clear warning. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. This verse paints a vivid picture of the consequences of debt. When we owe money, we become tied to our creditors. We're limiting our financial freedom. It's not that borrowing is inherently sinful, but the Bible encourages us to avoid unnecessary debt because it can lead to stress, servitude, or even hinder our ability to serve God fully. Think of debt as a weight that can hold you back from living the life God intended for us. Today we'll talk about how to lighten that burden. So debt doesn't just impact our bank accounts. It affects our spiritual and emotional well-being too. Let's break it down. What are the spiritual consequences? Well, debt can create stress, distractions. It pulls us away from our faith and our relationships. It can hinder our generosity. It can make it harder to give freely and joyfully. Now, the practical consequences. High interest rates make it difficult to pay off the debt, creating this cycle of financial strain. Debt also limits our future opportunities, like saving for retirement, supporting loved ones, or pursuing dreams. Recognizing these consequences helps us to see why addressing the debt is so important. It's not just for the financial aspect, but it's for our spirituality. Now that you understand the impact of debt, let's talk about creating a plan to get out of it. Here are some practical steps. Acknowledge and pray. First step is even just recognizing that you need a change and you seek God's guidance. You pray for wisdom, discipline, and courage to tackle your financial situation. We've made a lot of videos about credit banking, debt paydown, velocity banking. These are great strategies to start to grab a hold of it, but it all starts with you got to list out all your debts. Write down each debt, including the amount it owed, the interest rates, the minimum payments. Seeing everything in one place helps you understand the full picture. Creating that budget. The budget helps you allocate your income towards essentials, debt repayment, and savings, prioritizing paying down your debt while covering your basic needs. And then use that debt snowball method. Start by paying off that smallest debt first while we start making minimum payments on the others. As you pay off each debt, roll that payment to the next one, builds momentum, motivation. These steps provide a roadmap for your freedom. Remember, every small step counts. And once you've tackled that debt, how do you stay debt-free? Well, here's some strategies. This is pretty wild, but we got to live within our means. Spend less than we earn. Avoid impulse purchases by planning ahead and sticking to a budget. Build an emergency fund. Save for unexpected expenses like car repairs, medical bills. An emergency fund helps prevent new debt. And then use the credit wisely. If you use credit cards, pay the balance in full each month. Avoid relying on credit for everyday expenses. And practice being content. Hebrews 13:5 reminds us, keep your eyes free from the love of money and be content with what you have. Focus on what you need rather than what you want, trusting God's provision. These habits create a strong foundation for financial stability and peace. Let's end by reflecting on the ultimate goal, freedom from debt. It's going to allow you to serve God and others. When we're not burdened by debt, we can be more generous, flexible, and available to pursue God's calling in our lives. Jesus said in Matthew 6:24, no one can serve two masters. You cannot serve both God and money. So ask yourself, how can financial freedom enable me to better serve God and those around me? Maybe it's supporting a ministry, helping someone in need, or simply living in peace and joy. Freedom from debt isn't just about those finances. It's about living a life that honors God and reflects His provision. That can be overwhelming. But with God's help and a solid plan, freedom is possible. Start by taking small, intentional steps. Pray for wisdom. Create a plan. And trust that God will guide you every step of the way. If this message has encouraged you, please like it, share it, subscribe it. Together, let's pursue financial freedom that honors God and brings peace to our lives. Until next time, stay faithful, stay focused, and keep trusting in God's provision. God bless.